Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts indeed. The last live stream on the Film Junkee channel in 2025. Hopefully you didn't freak out about that. That's right, the last one of 2025. At least as of right now. You never know what could happen, right? Something crazy happens. But, you know, as of right now, I figured, yeah, let's take a little time off. So the next time you see me live, I'll still be posting videos because, you know, I'm crazy like that. I can't just stop cold turkey, like just stop for a week because I'm just nutty like that. But the next live stream will be January 2nd for, you know, the first vodka stream of the year. So, what's happening, guys? Welcome to Film Junkee Live. Been a crazy year, hasn't it? And we still got 2 more weeks. Are the aliens going to show up yet? What's going on with that Cloud Atlas thing? Whatever. 3-Eye Atlas? Whatever. Isn't that supposed to show up? Is it going to show up Christmas Eve, maybe? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But let's see who is out there. Let's see who we got. We got Mr. Fear Jason. Good to see you, buddy. We got Monique. Marvelous Monday to you as well. Well, the cold flu bug took us out. I did manage to make a chicken enchilada soup. That sounds delicious. Go for dinner. There you go. Well, that works. You know, you got to do that. Feed the family. Sounds absolutely delicious. Yeah, people, it seems like they're getting sick. Stay away from me, guys. No, yeah. People, like some family members, like at a Christmas party, got a little sick too. And I think it tried to get me. I think it tried to get me, and it didn't quite latch on. See, it's because of the booze. It's because of vodka. The vodka running through the veins. That's what helped kill the virus. Should be fun seeing Captain Atom and Creature Commandos, though. I think they announced the showrunner of the Harley Quinn animated series is also taking over the Creature Commandos Season 2. Nice. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Of course, we're going to be talking about that. Not a lot of DCU news. You know, that's one of the reasons why I take like the last week off, because, you know, news is going to be a little scarce. Hopefully all of Hollywood is not being like crazy people and, you know, they go on vacation to see their families. What's going on, Dell? Good to see you, buddy. We got Taladia Plays. Hopefully you're doing well as well. The Ghoul, what's happening, sir? And we got Mama Film Junkee right here. Sweet. Good to see you, Mom. I'll be seeing her tomorrow because we're doing a Christmas Eve dinner with Mama Film Junkee, because then there's like another dinner I'm going with, you know, my brother and nephew, basically my nephew's grandparents, my new landlords. So going to their house, but, you know, we'll see what happens after. Maybe I'll, you know, come out, you know, come and visit Mama Film Junkee again on Christmas Eve. And then of course we have Christmas morning that we're going to be opening gifts and everything. And then we're going to go to the cousin's house. So yeah, next 3 days are going to be pure madness. A lot of eating, a lot of drinking. So that's going to be fun. All right, we got Hunter. What's going on? What's up, fellas? And Film Junkee, what do you think of Captain Atom going to show up in Creature Commandos Season 2? I think it could work. It definitely can work. And, you know, again, this is James Gunn bringing in these characters that not a lot of people know about. I didn't know a lot about them either, but I've seen them in various things. I think the last thing I read him in was City of Bane. He was in City of Bane, and I read that book, and yeah, I mean, it didn't really end well for him, but it was, you know, that was like one of the stories that he popped up in, so he's an interesting character, almost a little Dr. Manhattan-y, you know, a little bit, you know, a little bit, kinda. There's some parallels there, but, you know, he's kind of he's a little, you know, he's a little fuzzy up in the brain there for sure. So, yeah, let's see who else we got. We got Music Man. Good to see you. I guess I need to start drinking. Christmas breakfast. That's what we'll be doing too. So we have Christmas Eve dinner and then Christmas breakfast, and then we're going to my cousin, her niece's house for our annual family Christmas day, which is always fun because my cousins are crazy. And I always, sometimes I don't remember leaving their house. That's for damn sure. So Avatar 3 was amazing. Probably my favorite of the franchise so far, but has my least favorite song. Why? just why Miley. That's right. I forgot that Miley Cyrus did do that one. Weekend was really good. Yeah. Second. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that box office. The box office is pretty interesting. But again, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Yes, that's exactly right. You know, that's what that's see, Mama Film Junkie, she's always looking after me. She's always the one that's going to be the DD. You know, she'll have like a glass of champagne or two, and then she cuts herself off, and then see what it is like my cousin's husband, Brad, who's like one of the funniest guys, one of the guys that he's just got that, he's got a big personality, big laugh, and anytime there'll be times where we're just like while things are happening, if we're by their little bar thing, he'll just immediately look at me and then just pour a shot of tequila, and then we just think and then take a shot of tequila. A lot of tequila is probably going to be had on Thursday, that's for damn sure. So preparing myself, you know, it's like, all right, you know, let's take the beginning of the week and hydrate a little bit right now, because my God. Anyways, still need to read that book. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about fan casting. I ran that poll on the channel about fan casts, and I just chose actors that people were fan casting out on Twitter, and of course, Mr. Alan Richardson was like #1. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's get to the tweets. And yeah, hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. I spent time with Pop's Film Junkie, and I went to his house for his little Christmas brunch. Had fun with that. So, and then of course had the Saturday vodka stream, which was fun after the whole Brainiac casting that happened. And I posted a couple of videos about it from that stream when I was like opened up that Saturday vodka stream. Had a couple people who support the channel, Eric and Jay, show up and be part of the panel, and had Phil on as well. And then of course had Ronan on. So it was a good little discussion talking about that and talking about Christmas movies and whatnot. So hopefully you guys checked that stream out or listened to it, whichever. Good times. All right, guys, let's get to the tweets, huh? Let's get to these tweets. And I love this. I love this a lot, because Tom Cruise, good old Tommy Cruises, he has wrapped up the Mission Impossible franchise, at least we think. Who knows? Who knows if Ethan Hunt is he ever going to come back? Is there ever going to be another Mission Impossible? I don't know. We don't know. With Tom Cruise's next movie, he is now jumping back into a comedy. That's right. Jumping back into comedy, and next year we get Tom Cruise is Digger. A comedy of a catastrophe. I was like, wait, what? A comedy of catastrophic proportions. Man, I can't even talk. And this is from Alejandro Añerto. I always say, of course, I'm saying his name wrong. But yeah, it's a new film from Alejandro, and he's the one that did Gravity, right? Am I wrong? He did Gravity, right? I'm totally like blanking on what he's done before, but that's coming out a day after my birthday, so that's cool. But yeah, so we got that, and then of course we got a little trailer right here, a little teaser when it comes to this, and it is a Warner Brothers movie, so hopefully they don't just stick this on Netflix, goddammit. Look at that. I mean, oh, that's right. Never mind. What did I think? Gravity. It's Birdman and The Revenant. Duh. What am I thinking? Yeah. In IMAX, of course. So that's awesome. Turn that off. So there you go. That's a Gorillaz song, huh? I didn't even know that. I guess, yeah, that does sound like the Gorillaz. So yeah, Tom Cruise is back, is doing comedy. And yeah, I was like, wait, is that the director of Gravity? No, that's not the director of Gravity. It's the director of The Revenant and what was the other one? My brain is just not all there. Birdman, that's right. He did Birdman. Cool. Daredevil Born Again, Season 2. We got our first look at Quentin Tarantino's favorite actor, Matthew Lillard. So Entertainment Weekly did a little preview exclusivo. So there's a shot of him, of course, with Kingpin. And then we got a shot, of course, reunited, and it feels so good. Jessica Jones, baby. That's right. And there's Daredevil right there. And his costume is looking pretty messed up, which, pretty interesting. So there's a couple of shots. I think there was actually another one. Yeah, there was. This one right here with Karen. Karen looking hot with that red hair. Not gonna lie. Like the red hair. And then, of course, Charlie Cox right there. So, yeah. Yeah, Kristen, she's looking, what's her last name? Kristen Ritter. Kristen Ritter. She just turned 44. I don't think that woman has aged since she's gotten into the business. I don't think she's aged. She just turned 44. Like, her birthday was the other, and it's like, she turned 44. I'm like, she looks like she's 27. I'm like, I don't think I've seen the woman age since she's shown up, so. Okay, Macaulay Culkin, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one, okay? And you guys know where I stand when it comes to Die Hard being a Christmas movie. So Macaulay Culkin expressed this recently, and I'm just like, Actually, let me find, I'm sure there's the clip around. I'm not gonna just, let's see. How do you spell his freaking name? Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, he talked about, we kind of talked about this on the Saturday Vodka stream. Oh, man. I should probably type that better. But yeah, there's actually probably a clip floating around so we can actually listen to him as opposed to me just reading. I'm probably not going to find the clip because, when I want to find the clip, you can't find the clip. And sure enough, I can't find the clip because Twitter is a weird thing because I know there was a clip going around and there's just nothing. No clip. I'm pretty sure there's a clip, and I could probably pull it up from... Nah, there's no clip. There's no quick clip. What are we doing here? See, this is what sucks. Twitter needs a better search. What the fuck? And then when I do latest, it says, no results. All right. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to just read the quote. I could have swore I saw a clip, and I should have prepared for that. Yeah, no clip. See, Twitter's search is really... That needs to be improved greatly. My God. All right. Now, maybe because I spelled his name wrong? No, I didn't spell his name wrong. Okay, never mind. Whatever. So Macaulay Culkin was being interviewed, and he was asked if Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and this is what he had to say. It's based around Christmas, but if it were also St. Patrick's Day, it would still work. But you couldn't do Home Alone on Memorial Day. Yes, you can. Okay, see, this is Macaulay, hey, I'm just saying, if you're going to say Die Hard's not a movie, you can also say Home Alone is not a movie. You can 100% have Home Alone around the Memorial Day weekend. You could have it during summer. You could have it any holiday, anytime that the entire family is going to leave. You don't need Christmas for an entire family to leave. You don't need Christmas to defend your house from burglars. The Christmas vibe is what makes these movies better. Okay? Yes, I get it. Like, Die Hard can happen. It could have happened, for Easter. It could have happened any day of the month. But so could have Home Alone. Maybe not on, like, a normal weekday, but a weekend, sure. But I'm just saying, like, no. You're wrong on this one because I'm just saying, you're just wrong on this one. But the Christmas vibe is what makes these movies better. Okay? Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Okay, sure, like and I see where his point is, but then at the same time, that also defeats Home Alone because Home Alone could take place at any time of the year, any holiday, it could be Home Alone. Like, there's nothing significantly, the Christmas atmosphere, the Christmas aesthetic helps, but it doesn't It's not like the Polar Express. It's not like A Christmas Story. You know, it's not that. So, just saying. Okay, this is one of those things. You see one of these images on Twitter, and then you see the caption, and you immediately go, yeah, this has happened to me. And I saw this right here, and 100%, and I know this has happened to you guys too. This has totally happened. This only happens when you're angry or in a hurry. Remember, you know how this like just randomly happens with these doorknobs? These like handles, these door handles? They're not even knobs. They're the door handles. And somehow your belt loop just happens to just get hooked up on it, and all of a sudden like you're trapped on the door. And yes, it's usually when you're in a hurry or you're not exactly in a great mood. So relatable right here. Jesus Christ. You feel it. So when I saw that image, I was like, oh yeah, you feel that. I immediately was like, oh, I feel like I just got in a bad mood. That always freaking happens. There's always stuff like that happens that... let's see what else we got. No, he deleted that? No way. Oh, I love that. I called somebody out on my Twitter, and they deleted their post. That's funny. That's pretty funny. Sorry, I just was like, huh? All right, so what else we got? Going. Oh yeah, guess what's wrapped? Star Wars Starfighter. I still hate that title. I do not like that title. Not a fan of the title. But Star Wars Starfighter has wrapped production. There is Sean Levy right here, the director, of course, saying that's a wrap, headed into Starfighter post-production, and then he's just doing like a Matrix little run on the wall. He's having fun. I like Sean Levy. I like his movies. Like, of course, Deadpool & Wolverine was great. I like the Adam Project. You know, he's done the Stranger Things thing, so he's a good guy. He's a good director. I like him, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, we don't need to look at that. Yeah, we don't need him. Yeah. Wow, somebody else deleted something. What the hell? Why are people just deleting posts I'm quote tweeting? This has been all over oh yeah. Oh, okay, I know what this was. You know, going back to the whole Home Alone thing, there was like an AI image of Macaulay Culkin, Daniel Stern, and Joe Pesci, like modern day, like 2025, like they met up for coffee to have a conversation. There was like an image, a couple images that were going around. One that showed them, of course, in Home Alone in 1991, whenever it came out, and then it said 2025, and it showed them like sitting down to some coffee. And yeah, this is where we're at now, folks. This is where AI is at, where people are just instantly fooled. You have to question everything now. And sure enough, I was like, why? I kept on seeing it on my feed, and I'm going like, do you guys really think that this is real? I mean, you got to use your brain when it comes to something like that, because something like that, if there was actually going to be something like that, a reunion of those three, Macaulay Culkin would have probably posted it. There probably would have been a video. There probably would have been a video on YouTube somewhere. Somebody would have filmed the fucking thing. So it's just like, you know, you got to start using your brain. Don't just automatically, like, you see something and you go, oh my God, look what happened. It's like, no, it's not real. It's not real. But you know what is real? Israel? The Epstein files. The redacted Epstein files. How much redacted did we see when it came to these goddamn files? They're never going to come out, not fully. It's just never going to be. Okay, too many powerful people. It's just the way it is. Too many powerful people run this goddamn world, and a lot of them are fucking sickos. Let's just face it. That's just the way it is. Doesn't matter who's in office. You know, Biden didn't release them. Trump kind of did, but not really. Who knows? I mean, both of them are probably on the list for all we know. And other presidents, particularly one president, yeah, he showed up in a lot of images when it came to those Epstein images that were released. But man, I guess the signs were there, guys. The signs were there when it came to this individual being photographed right here with Epstein. And I don't know if anybody's going to be shocked. I personally am not shocked because, again, the signs were there. Winnie the Pooh. I mean, he goes around children without pants. The signs were there. The signs were there. Somebody check on Daffy Duck. Not Daffy Duck. Somebody check on Donald Duck. He doesn't wear pants either. Porky Pig? I don't think he wears pants either. Check out these other characters too who are going pantsless. Maybe they were also on the island. But yeah, Winnie the Pooh. Jeez. Terrible, terrible, I know. Bill Clinton, we already knew. Chris Tucker, well, Chris Tucker defended himself. I don't know if you saw that video. Chris Tucker actually defended himself on like a podcast or something. He got on, and he was just like, I didn't go out. None of the pictures of me on the island. I don't know. It was kind of like a weird thing. He was actually pretty, it was like, I don't know if it was just, I just saw one video and he was basically saying like, yeah, I'm not actually, I never went to the island. I just was there with him and so, I don't know. Chris Tucker, pretty crazy, but it's just all dumb. What could he do? All right, what else we got? Let's see. Yeah, we don't need that. Already talked about that. Winnie the Pooh. What else we got? Just kind of scrolling through. Oh, okay, here we go. And as like I said, there's some things where I'm like, either I'm going to talk about it or don't need to talk about it. James Cameron knows. James Cameron knows, okay? What's James Cameron's favorite action movie? Well, it's a movie that he himself is also considering it a Christmas movie.
James Cameron, what is your favorite action movie?
Ooh. You mean besides mine?
No, it can be one of yours. No. You can include one of yours.
No, I know the answer to this. It's Die Hard.
Yes.
Die Hard. It's best one-liner, best villain death, best Christmas movie.
There it is.
That was the next question. That was my follow-up.
Jimmy Cams, he's saying it's a Christmas movie. There you go. End the discussion. End the debate now. James Cameron, the box office darling, the cinematic genius that he is saying that it is a Christmas movie. So I'm just going to go with him. Oops. He knows. All right. Oh, yeah, and then, of course, did you guys see this weekend that Jake Paul and Andrew Tate lost their boxing matches? Oh, is that going to work? Oh, it didn't work. Why didn't my drops work? See, I don't even know. My drops don't even work anymore. See, I got to fix some things. With my little time off, I need to fix some things. My drops don't even work on this. Does this work? There we go. Well, that worked. Why is the other one's not working? Yeah, okay. Why didn't the other ones working? Yeah, some of them don't work. But anyways, yes, I think everybody was everybody kind of all cheered, like kind of clapped and saw to see that Jake Paul and Andrew Tate both lost their fights. Jake Paul got his jaw broken. It was kind of like, whoa, it looked pretty bad. And then, of course, you see him in the hospital. He's all puffy faced. But the sad fact of the matter is he still got paid like $92 million. I don't know how much he got paid. He got paid a shit ton of money. So, you know, I would gladly get my jaw broken for $92 million or whatever the fucking was. But it was just kind of funny. Yeah, I'm not a fan of either of those two. So, not a fan of either of those two. So, it didn't faze me. Didn't faze me at all. I didn't even watch the fights. I just saw the highlights. Yeah, I know. That was like everybody's like Christmas gift right here. We got Boss Logic. Boss Logic posting some really cool things right here. So he's got the Superman logo that's all Brainiac-defied. I like that. And then he also, there's Lars. There's Lars right there. When it comes to him as Brainiac, is that the look that Lars is going to be right there? Who knows? It's going to be interesting how James Gunn's going to actually pull this off. So that's what's going to be crazy. That's Lars right there. You know, some people were posting like what he could possibly look like. Obviously, it's a lot easier to do that now with AI, but, you know, somebody like Boss Logic kind of took it to like, oh yeah, make it that more robotic with the little dots, the little head dots kind of thing. Maybe you could do something like that. I think that's pretty cool. Awesome. He does great work when it comes to that. Pierce Brosnan was asked, what was he asked? Asked if James Bond would enjoy Christmas. So Pierce Brosnan was asked if James Bond would enjoy Christmas. And Pierce Brosnan responded to this question from The Times. And he responded in such a way that he took it from the Harrison Ford playbook. I don't really want to answer the question, and I'm not going to answer the question because I couldn't give a fuck. Why would I waste my time thinking about where James Bond would be at Christmas? That is a total Harrison Ford answer right there. He's just like, I don't care. It's a fictional character I played. I'm not going to sit there and be like, I just love it when you get to sometimes like Harrison Ford, when they just get asked these questions and they're just not in the mood to answer them. You get that crotchety old man answer of are you kidding me? I don't care. I love that. Now let's do a little bit of a Zack Snyder update when it comes to things that he's been posting online. Now, I got a video that's going to be coming out that I recorded last week. I just haven't got around to it because the Brainiac stuff just kind of threw me for a loop where I was trying to get more videos out about the Brainiac things. I got 2 videos out when it came to the Brainiac stuff, so hopefully you guys watch those videos. But let's go ahead and see what Zacky Poo, what he's been posting lately. I just had it up right there. What are we doing? So, the first thing he posted, because again, he's trying to post all his filmography, which is good, and I love that. And I was wondering when he was going to, show some more love to Army of the Dead, which I really, really enjoyed that universe, and I hope it 100% continues. On the set of the Army of the Dead with the perfect zombie hunter, Dave Bautista. Look at that. So there they are in the beginning, and we see Bautista's character at his job as a chef, a cook at a restaurant. Of course, Zach wearing his signature V-neck, but those sleeves are way high up. Got to show them guns, man. Got to show them guns. And then we got the great Djimon Hounsou, shot with the Leica monochrome 50mm Dream lens, looking badass right there. And then we got a Henry Cavill. What? Another Henry Cavill image. Oh, it's pretty. It's black and white. It's on a Polaroid. Before the suit was finalized, an early Man of Steel costume test shot on a 4x5 black and white Polaroid. And if you guys notice, you look closely, I know it's in black and white, but there is no background, no yellow background behind that S. Why? Zach did not want that. He wanted a black, kind of like a black behind the S. He didn't want to have the yellow. He did not want to have the yellow. And it just so happens that a certain costume designer that I am friends with mentioned that very thing. And this is what he had to say. This is from Reeves FX. I recall my buddy Tony, who was Henry's suit wrangler on Man of Steel and BVS, telling me that the black background on the S was Zach's homage to the Fleischer cartoon. Wanted to pay homage to, of course, that's lovely design of Superman. Yeah, but it was the studio. The studio was like, nah, man, we can't. Yeah. That was the thing that they pushed back on. Pushed back on. And, I know that, a lot of the loud people out there that are Zack Snyder fans say no compromise, no compromise. He compromised. I mean, that's the thing. There's compromises that happen. I get it. No compromise. It's a great battle cry, and you shouldn't compromise as much as possible. But there's always going to be compromise when it comes to the film industry. And that was one of the things that it was like, yeah, he had to be like, all right, fine. I'll put the little, the yellow in the background. I mean, the costume still looks good. But it would have been kind of cool and unique to have that black background instead of the yellow. But, that's just me. That's just me right there. But of course, you see people who just don't know how anything works. And they just start making a bitch fit about everything. And then, of course, you have the people who don't like Zach that would have been like, this would have sucked. And it's like, shut up. It would have looked perfectly fine. Would have worked perfectly fine. So there you go. That's a little update on all that when it comes to Zach. And then this is sad right here, man. James Ransone passed away at the age of 46. And yeah, not in the way that we want to hear somebody. Well, we don't want to hear somebody go this early no matter what. But he took his own life. And if you recognize him, he was I think he was in The Wire. Was it The Wire that he was also? But he played one of the characters, the older versions of the character in It Chapter 2. That was mainly what I've seen him, and I've seen him pop in some other things as well. But man, yeah, it was The Wire. As you can see right there, people are posting clips in The Wire. Apparently, yeah, it's just pretty sad to hear that kind of stuff. May he rest in peace. It sucks, man. He was in some Spike Lee movies. Spike Lee actually made a statement about it, made a comment about it. But yeah, I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, he passed away at 46. I mean, like, that's really young. And then all of a sudden it said, like, oh, yeah, he took his own life. Apparently, I don't know, I just saw things online that apparently he was heavily, like, sexually abused as a child. So that had a lot to do with it. He had a drug problem. So, yeah. But man, I tell you what, it's just like, seems like the past week with the deaths, we're just like, God. I don't know. It's just been kind of like a rough week when you're just like, good God. I mean, it's one thing when, somebody passes away from, they pass away at 86, 87. They pass away at a late age. You go, oh, that sucks, but they lived a full life. But man, we've been seeing, Rob Reiner was 78, but yeah, that still was just truly tragic right there, man. But, yeah, so may you rest in peace, man. That just sucks. That just really sucks when you hear about that. Avatar 4. When we're going to see Avatar 4? Well, not for another 4 years. Jesus Christ. I thought Avatar 4 was already kind of like in the bag, but apparently not. And here's some details when it comes to Avatar 4. Avatar 4 is currently set to release 4 years from today, and this was yesterday. Most of the first act has already been filmed. We'll have an 8-year time jump. James Cameron still plans to direct it. Curry will be the narrator. Script got 0 notes from Disney. All they said back was, holy fuck. The thought of somebody at Disney just saying, holy fuck. I mean, I'm sure, I think this is from James Cameron, kind of details from James Cameron. He's probably exaggerating their response, but I'm willing to bet that no matter what, they just all I hope for when it comes to Avatar 4. And now, we're going to have a ways till we actually see it. I just hope they train, the formula has worked with the first 3 movies. This trilogy of movies that we have has worked, and I know, a lot of people are really showing their grievances about, oh yeah, it's the same, it seems like it's just the same thing. Oh, the same, there's the sky people and the blue people. That's all it is. But there are layers to it. The people who are just that are really shitting on Avatar, it's so funny because it's when I see people just heavily shitting on it, just going what the fuck, it's the same thing. I'm like, okay, if you think it's just exactly the same thing as Way of the Water, you didn't fucking watch the movie. I don't know. There were other things. There were more concepts that they were diving deeper into when it comes to the mythos and Pandora that I'm hoping that pay off in the sequels. I mean, I'm not saying that it was a perfect movie, but I mean, perfect to look at for sure. But I'm all right, but I do hope that it is a little bit of a change. I'm kind of wondering, what that could be. So, yeah, they're going to end up going back to Earth one of these, probably in the next one. That's what's going to be cool. Can't wait for that. Screen Rant. Nope. I'm sorry, but this ain't happening. This ain't happening, and it sucks because I'm sad. Because I like Screen Rant. Obviously, I've made friends with people who are part of Screen Rant. But sometimes I just go, oh, come on. You got to do your journalism. You got to dig. You got to make sure that everything, when you're posting something, that it's going to be legit and you're not going to be just doing it for clickbait or anything like that. But Screen Rant right here, I was I had to remind them. But this is what they posted the other day. James Gunn's DCU is still trying to figure out its take on Batman, and a lighthearted comedic take like Adam West's Dark Knight could be just the key. Fuck no. Therefore, I had to remind them from that Rolling Stone article. Remember all the controversy that happened when Geeks and Gamers took the quote of him saying Batman is boring and put it in their headline? He said this in that very same interview, but yet he's not a campy Batman. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in a funny, campy Batman, really. So we're dealing with that. No campy Batman. I know. And I mean, I had people in my comments that were, you know, again, they don't take the time to actually read the full context of quotes. You know, I remember there was like somebody in my comment of like, I don't know what video it was, but they were like, he literally said that Batman is boring. And then I'm just like, I just don't want to campy him. I'm like, he literally said none of that. He literally said the opposite. It's like, stop it, literally. Good God. I'm not saying that I don't think, he's not going to have like, it's not going to be like a Robert Pattinson dark, but Jesus Christ. And then this is never ending here. Never ending. Paramount, the Ellisons, man, are they little bitches? I mean, my God, I mean, are they just like spoiled little brats? What is happening with the Ellisons here? Because now Daddy's getting involved. Well, at least, you know, he probably is. He probably already has been involved and stuff like that. But of course, David Ellison, Paramount, they are still fighting. They are still fighting for Warner Brothers. And then I'm just going to read the headline right here. We don't have to dive into the article, but it says, David Ellison's Paramount has sent a revised offer to acquire Warner Brothers, one that keeps the $30 per share price tag, but resolves many of the issues that WBD board had with the deal. So it's essentially just like they are trying so hard with this. They are trying so hard. The company also agreed to raise the termination fee to $5.8 billion to match Netflix and extended the date of the offer to January 21st. So there you go. Just more stuff, more shit, and just trying to be like, hey, we got you right here. This is a better deal. It's a better deal. I'm like, man, these guys they won't let up. They just definitely won't let up. And it just seems like, just stop, guys. Just stop. It's not happening. Just pump the brakes, man. Just absolutely pump that brakes. Pump them brakes. But they don't care. They don't care. Timothy Chalamet to promote Marty Supreme, which I want to see, and I hope to see it this weekend. I think I'm going to try to find somewhere. I definitely want to see that movie, Marty Supreme. But good old Timmy Pants right here is taking a page out of Tom Cruise's handbook. That's right. And this is how he's promoting Tommy Supreme. What is it? Is it Tommy Supreme, right? Am I saying the fucking name right? Of course, it doesn't even say the title. God, my brain is not working today. Anyways.
Marty Supreme is an American film that comes out on Christmas Day, 2025.
Yep, he's standing on top of the sphere. And then, of course, they're going to put the logo right on there. And then there we go. There you go. Why not? Marty Supreme. Marty. I don't know why I'm like, my brain's not working today. But that's what he's doing. And somewhere Tom Cruise is like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Can't stand that little shit, Timothy. Little's right. That dude is probably not as tall as he looks. Let me just say that. Always look at his when he's out in public everywhere. I notice that he's always wearing boots. Boots with a pretty good heel, and then there's probably some lifts inside those boots. Just saying, something I was told from somebody in the business are like, oh yeah, Timothy Chalamet is actually a lot shorter than he looks. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. They all do it. Robert Downey Jr. definitely does it. You know how it is. There's a lot, who cares? We're short. 2 years ago, guys, 2 years ago, the DCEU ended. And I think I even talked about this last year during this time where I was like, oh yeah, a year ago, the DCU ended. And what did it end with? It ended with this scene right here. Remember this? Good old Orm. Trying out a burger. Sees a roach, because why not? Why not? Why? There's got to be a roach. There's a roach just on this nice little beach. Oh, God. Anybody else hungry now? So, yeah, that was the end of the DCU. No, Dave, I don't know how it is. I'm hella tall. It's good, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm a not so tall guy myself, so. But I wear boots, so I get another like inch and a half. I'll wear boots, but it's still, I'm still like, it doesn't get me that tall. But I'm just saying, like, you can always kind of tell. But I was like, somebody told me, like, yeah, Timothy Chalamet, he definitely is, he's always, and then I'm always looking at I'm like, oh yeah, he is wearing boots. He's always wearing boots. That's because he's getting that extra, he's probably getting an extra 4 or 5 inches from them boots and lifts that are inside there. Anyways, enough with heights, who cares? He's still way more successful than any of us. And he's still a good actor. I still like him, so. But, all right, let's go ahead and start talking about some DCU stuff. Let's get into it. Wasn't a big fan of the DCU, yeah. Well, I mean, I was a big fan of the start of the DCU, and then it just kind of fell off the freaking reservation, man. Went to a terrible not a terrible direction. It's not like they were all bad, but, All right. So obviously the big news that happened this weekend, which we've already talked about, I did a Vox stream, a Saturday edition of the Vox stream, and already talked about, of course, Lars Edinger, I don't know. I'm saying, I butcher names all the time. And of course, now he is going to be Brainiac, and we already talked about it. And I posted a video and everything. Check it out on the channel if you haven't, where he kind of went over some details, some of the responses that James Gunn put out there. And of course, pushing back on, the morons out there that just are, shitting on all this thing, and it's sad because you look at it and you're like, well, you're a diehard Snyder fan, and did you think that Zack didn't hire unknowns? Ray Porter, Ray Fisher, Henry Cavill? I mean, Henry Cavill was, nobody knew who Henry Cavill was. We were calling him Henry Cavill when he first was announced. I mean, this is what they do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with hiring unknowns. Wayne T. Carr, I mean, that's what's so funny. These guys say hey, Wayne T. Carr is our Green Lantern. But it's funny because I've always put this out there big time, because if Zack Snyder got his way, he wouldn't have hired Wayne T. Carr as his Green Lantern. He just went rogue and shot the scene himself against Warner Brothers. But if Warner Brothers actually let him do the Green Lantern scene, he wouldn't have cast Wayne T. Carr. That's the thing. And I'm sure Wayne T. Carr would have killed it. Really nice dude. Talked to him on the stream when it was announced that he was in fact the Jon Stewart of the Snyderverse. Anyways, that's besides the point. It's just the hypocrisy gets so freaking annoying when it comes to this whole freaking discourse. It's just so goddamn annoying. Let's see, what do we got? Come on, you stupid thing. And again, there is Lars right there as Brainiac from Boss Logic. Who knows if it's going to look anything like that? It might. James Gunn kind of has a feel for a lot of different versions of Brainiac because, again, James Gunn is a comic book nerd. He collected so many comic books. That's why he likes these deep pulls and everything like that. But I don't know if it's going to look like that. It might. But again, Boss Logic is just doing the Lord's work and already posting something like, and he looks fucking scary right there. Absolutely scary. Hopefully it looks something like that, and hopefully James Gunn is, he's looking at things and, taking in of, like, designs. I have a feeling he might go with something like that kind of design. I just have a feeling there's going to be something like that when it comes to his design. He even talked about, he gave a shout-out to Absolute Brainiac as well. The new Brainiac, which looks fucking all kinds of creepy right there. Ooh, baby, does he look creepy. Let's see, what else we got when it comes to, before we start talking about the main stuff. I mean, let's see. There's really not much. Like I said, we got Batman Beyond. For you Fortniters out there, Batman Beyond joins Fortnite. So you can play the Beyond Joker and Batman, Terry's Batman right there, if you're so inclined. Never got into the Fortnite thing, but hey, it's kind of cool. Christopher Nolan was about it when it came to Tenet, right? That's kind of sweet. Then we move over to the Batman Part D. And we got a rumor. Remember the rumor about this? Because somebody made up some kind of rumor, and then somebody decided to ask James Gunn about this, and, good old Jimmy Guns can't help himself but respond to something like this. He doesn't really need to respond to something like this because people like me, and probably people like you, knew that this wasn't the case. One question, is it true that Matt Reeves? What? Reeves? Hey, maybe this is evil Matt, I don't know. Sounds like almost like that comedian Matt Rife. Wanted to give us a realistic version of Clayface, and since you introduced him in Creature Command, this guy needs to learn how to type. You told Matt Reeves to find another villain for the Batman 2, and that's why he was delayed writing the script. What? Where does this stuff come from? No, it's the same exact script it has been from the beginning. There you go. Oh, but James Gunn is lying. James Gunn is lying. He's a liar. I don't know. Yeah, sure. It's like, I highly doubt that was ever going to be the case. I mean, there could have been some kind of Silver Age, kind of like that different kind of Clayface where he was mainly just wearing a mask and he was a serial killer. Yeah, that version of Clayface would have worked within Matt Reeves' world. But yeah, the ship-shifting, clay monster is not, the mud monster is not going to, work in Matt Reeves' universe. So I highly doubt that that's the case, but I'm very, very curious to be like, hey, Matt Reeves, can you start dropping those gifts so then we know who is playing who in the Batman 2? Please. Can't wait for that. That's what's going to be good. And now we get to Captain Atom. That's right. Captain Atom. And, well, there was already a rumor that came out. Rumors were already coming out. But, okay, so let's start with the rumors. And let's start with this article right here from Nexus Point News, who have been pretty good when it comes to this kind of stuff, when it comes to, exclusives that they have. I'll give these guys props. They're pretty good. Exclusivo! Creature Commandos season set to feature Captain Atom. Huh? Season 2 of the DC Universe's first project, Creature Commandos, is currently in production and set to introduce several new characters. Sources tell Nexus Point News that one major character that will be featured in this upcoming season is Captain Atom. Captain Atom. Oh. And yeah, like I said, I wasn't too familiar with Captain Atom. Like I said, he just kind of shows up in random stories, but I never read his actual stories. I just kind of knew about him. Like I said, there's a little Dr. Manhattan-y kind of vibe to him a little bit, kind of. But like I said, the last book I read with him, he showed up in City of Bane. So that was cool. And I was like, yeah, that's right. He did show up in there. So, and then Jimmy Guns, I mean, again, it's like, when people are like, oh, it's just a rumor, who knows? But I'm like, well, when the man himself posts this, it kind of confirms it. I don't know. Maybe. You got Adam, then you got Superman right there fighting. I'm going to go ahead and say it's confirmed. Now, the question is, because when it comes to the DCU, if you are going to play a character in an animated series, you will play them in live action. So naturally, people are putting out their fan casts. And I took when I was like searching through Twitter earlier today, I was like, you know what? Let me see who people are mainly talking about. What am I seeing consistently when I'm looking at the casting for Captain Atom? And I chose these 4 right here because I was seeing these names the most. Alan Ritchson, which I saw absolutely the most. And with my poll right here, 1.4 thousand views of our votes, 60% right here for Alan Ritchson. And then I put Zac Efron, saw his name show up a few times. Not many people are digging the whole Zac Efron Captain Atom, only 11%. Henry Cavill, I was seeing people actually put out Henry Cavill. That would be crazy if that was the case, huh? 14%. And then Glenn Powell was also a name I was seeing out there at 15%. And Alan Ritchson, now let's remind ourselves, Alan Ritchson, well, let's first talk about this video right here. Let's first bring up this video of Alan Ritchson, which, Jesus Christ, is this guy a fucking beast? Look at that guy. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. That is Kingpin looking down on fucking Spider-Man right there. Good Lord. Anyways,
doesn't want to do Batman, but would you be open to returning as Aquaman?
No, I would never take that from Momoa. I have too much respect.
He's Bobo now.
Yeah, right. That's true.
He forgot.
No, I think I would definitely want to explore some new horizons, and I think I have a feeling we may. We'll see. We'll see.
See what he said right there? I want to explore some new horizons, and I think we may. And then we talked about this as well, this quote right here that he gave to Screen Rant. And of course, some people were thinking that this is before, obviously, Brainiac was cast. So the conversation that I've been having with them is like, I want to play somebody a little messier. Huh? So yeah, when that quote came out, people were like, maybe Alan Ritchson is going to be Brainiac. Well, that's not the case now. So now that got this Captain Atom talk, that could be a pretty messy one because, the dude's not all there because of his little accident. He's got a lot of power. But he's not all there, so it can be a little messier. Definitely can be a little messier, so. And if, let's see. Let me look right here. Okay, so when it comes to Captain Atom, obviously his real name is Nathaniel Atom. So kind of fitting right there. But yeah, so I know there was a New 52 run when he volunteered to participate in an experiment. It was conducted at the research facility called Continuum. And basically, yeah, it was doing a dimensional transfer through M theory. Adam was asked to pilot a dimensional transfer vessel, but it is seemingly atomized. I cannot read today. During the experiment, soon afterwards, he reappeared now in energy-based form. Again, little Dr. Manhattan vibes when it comes to all that. But like I said, he showed up in a lot of books. He even showed up in Doomsday Clock. I was looking at some of the listing of stuff right here. But like I said, City of Bane, that's the last time I saw him. He was in Death Metal as well, Dark Crisis, Absolute Power. Yeah, and then of course the Atom Project, his actual book, and of course that had Ryan Troy and Ray Palmer, the other fellow Atoms. But yeah, some of his powers, he's got quantum armor, he's got chronokinesis. He also, Captain Atom can disintegrate a man with a wave of his hand. Molecular reconstruction, of course. Captain Atom has the ability to rearrange matter at will. He often does that to alter his clothing. Healing, Captain Atom is able to cure a man from cancer. Resurrection, Captain Atom is able to bring the dead back to life. Size alteration, density, all this stuff. Flight, he could fly. I mean, he's a powerful motherfucker. That's basically what we're saying right there. And I could totally see Alan Ritchson doing it, but I could see all 4 of those selections when I was kind of just scrolling through. It took some time today to scroll through to see who people were casting, and I could totally see those 4 doing it. I think I think Cavill and Richardson would be the better choices. Man, if Cavill ended up joining the DCU, there would be chaos, absolute chaos online. It would just be I don't know what would happen between the gun nuts and the Snyder and the Snyder crazies as well. I don't mean like, man, it would just be absolute chaos. But I think just given what Alan Richardson has said, it sounds like conversations were already had, and I am willing to bet that he will be cast as Captain Atom. I just have this feeling. It just makes sense. And then, will he show up in Man of Tomorrow? Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. He might show up in Man of Tomorrow. Could be interesting. He's a nuclear-powered guy, yeah? New 52 sucked mostly. Yeah. Yeah, he does look like Bane. What villains work for Richardson? He could probably pull off a Deathstroke. I could see that. I would love Cavill to come back to... Yeah, I would. Like I said, I want Cavill to come back as Vandal Savage. I think Cavill would be an excellent Vandal Savage. That's my opinion. I've been saying that. I'm like, if they're going to do Vandal Savage, which I don't know when they would actually get to Vandal Savage, now that we have Brainiac in the mix... But if you could get Vandal Savage, I'm like, that's where Cavill could play. He looks like him, and I think Cavill can, have fun playing a villain. So I 100% have been backing that thing up. So, but there you go. There's your DCU news right there. Now let's talk about some cinema, some more cinema, some absolute cinema, and that of course is Christopher Nolan and the Odyssey trailer. And I'm sure you guys watched the trailer. It showed up today. Everybody was like, oh my God, it's happening. Hopefully you guys, if you guys saw Avatar this weekend, hopefully you saw the big long prologue that was in front of Avatar. I was like, oh shit, sweet. I was so happy I got to see the prologue on the big ass IMAX. And I was just like, the tension. If you guys watch that prologue, Christopher Nolan, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. The score, it just gets, the tempo gets faster and faster and faster and faster. And it was so like, whoa. Yeah, getting goosebumps. I'm literally getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. But let's fire up the trailer a little bit and kind of go through it. Have a little discussion. Prologue. The prologue that was out into the 6-minute prologue. It didn't show Pattinson. I don't think we saw Pattinson. Yeah, there's the sad-free guy, the big sad-free guy. I think he might be Achilles. I don't know. Everybody was wondering. We saw that image, and then of course everybody keeps on complaining about the costumes aren't accurate. The costumes aren't accurate. Shut the fuck up with the costumes. The way that they look just didn't look right. This is a fantasy story. Shut up. Look at this. But look at how, it's just gonna be, it's Christopher Nolan. That's all you gotta show. Look at that shot with the Trojan horse. And that's what the prologue is. The prologue is this scene right here with the Trojan horse. It's crazy and it's so tense. And you hear that score. But Cyclops, we actually have a monster in a Christopher Nolan movie. And zombies? Oh!
Promise me you will come back.
What if I can't?
Oh. That's what I'm talking about. Woo! Didn't show too much. It showed the tone. It really created that atmosphere. Oh man, I know. So people are doubting. It's so funny. We are now in like a weird era where people are even doubting Christopher Nolan now. There are people out there that just now They just, everything's going to suck. Everything, man, they're literally just, I'm seeing it a lot more now where now that all, you know what it is? Because they built up their freaking communities with all the woke shit that was happening in the last 5-6 years. They built up their community when it came to all that. Now that it's shifting away from that and people are, hey, let's just make good fucking movies now, which of course they were screaming about. They are still going, yeah, looks like shit. Fucking Christopher Nolan, he was wrong, man, for this story. I'm like, you haven't even seen the movie yet. You haven't even seen the movie yet. I mean, that looks freaking epic. That looks great. Everything, there was like barely, I mean, I don't know, they briefly showed the Cyclops monster. I'm sure that's partially practical, partially VFX. I don't know. Maybe there's like a perspective thing that he's going to be using when it comes to that. Who knows? But everything else looked fucking great. Everything else looked great. God, cinema's coming. Oi. When has Christopher Nolan let us down? Well, some people would say Tenet. There are a lot of people that did not like Tenet. I like Tenet, but there's a lot of people that didn't like Tenet, sadly. You know. But for the same thing, I was like, I think we talked about this on the Vodka stream. You know, Oppenheimer, how the fuck did he make Oppenheimer work so well? He had a 3-hour movie based on the dude who made the atom bomb. How the fuck did he, like, you get that story to another director or another studio or something like that, they're going to make like a 90-minute movie that's going to be just like whatever. Christopher Nolan made a 3-hour epic that made you feel like shit when you walked out of the movie theater, but it was so freaking good and it won Best Picture. It's like, my God. It's just crazy. So in Nolan, I always trust Nolan. He has not made a bad movie. I like Tenet. I like all of it. He has not made a bad movie. He has not made a bad movie, but there you go. And just like James Cameron, you know, I'm like, you know, when I see these people like totally just like shitting on Avatar and James Cameron, I'm like, man, you guys, and it is that side of YouTube that they don't enjoy anything because they built their whole audience over tackling all the woke stuff, and now they have to like make everything seem like it's woke. It's really kind of crazy. You know, they can't just enjoy movies anymore. It's always like, oh, this is bad. Oh, look at this casting right here, this, that, and this. But anyways, when it comes to the box office, hey, of course, Avatar Fire and Ash was going to be the top dog, but it did come in less than Way of the Water. Now, this is what's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see, and I even asked, and we'll go over the results of that poll. I asked you guys, you know, on YouTube, does it make over $1 billion? And yeah, we'll see with that right now. But here's the debut when it comes to Avatar Fire and Ash. $347.3 million opening. Now, I think Way of the Water was like 450 something. I think it was 454 worldwide that it opened up with. But, you know, again, that was like, you know, there was quite a gap and the pandemic was ending. So people wanted to get out into the movie theaters. So, you know, and then we're going to have another 4 years before the next one comes out. But yeah, domestic still. People are just not wanting to flock to these types of movies when it comes to domestic. It's kind of interesting. Well, now, they did flock to Superman and Fantastic Four and stuff. It was actually the opposite. What am I thinking about? But yeah, it was international, 258.2. And then all new movies are in like the top 4, which is interesting. And then what's very interesting too is a religious type movie. This is an Angel Studios movie, animated, beat out SpongeBob. What? David. That's right. Because of the name. Because of the name David. Now, David and Goliath kind of thing. Yeah, so they made this like little animated movie right here. And it made $22 million domestic gross, beating out SpongeBob. I'm like, what the hell? Crazy. I thought SpongeBob may have made a splash, but I guess people are just kind of tired of SpongeBob. He's been around for like, what, 30 years? And then The Housemaid made $19 million. So, you know, there was something for everyone this weekend. And that's what I love. I love that there was something for everyone this weekend. And of course, this is a sexy little thriller. And apparently there's more stories they want to do, but, you know, not too bad. Not too bad. I don't know how much the budget was, but I can't imagine it was too much. I can't imagine the budget was like too much when it came to The Housemaid. And then, of course, SpongeBob only made $15 million worldwide. Internationally, it made 13,000. It's like, what the hell? It's very random and crazy. So, and then of course Zootopia, still running strong. Zootopia, it's just crazy how Zootopia has made most of its money. Look at all that, 77.8. But yeah, it's at $1.3 billion. It's just like, what the hell? Zootopia, I still haven't seen it yet. I enjoyed the first one. I do plan on seeing the other one. And then Marty Supreme came out limited and only had like 6 theaters. I think it's coming out mainly this weekend, but yeah, there it is. What's Wicked? Is Wicked Wicked still hasn't even made $500 million. I think people are over the Wicked stuff. I don't know if they're going to make that sequel. Are they going to make, they were talking about making more stories, but I think people were like, no, we can't handle Cynthia and Ariana anymore. We can't. I'm sorry, we can't. We can't handle their press junkets. It's too much. It's way too much. I don't know if that's the case, but hey. Although Ariana Grande did host Saturday Night Live this past Saturday, and they did a funny kind of Home Alone bit that was going viral online, which I thought was, it was pretty good. But let me see. Let's go to that poll I ran when it came to people in Avatar. Let's see. So I had 2.6 thousand. Is that how many votes I got on this one? 2.6 thousand. So there's the poll right here. I threw out there yesterday. 2.6 thousand votes. And I said, does it hit over $1 billion? 45% said yes. 21% said no. And then, of course, 34%, who cares? Because really, who cares, right? But it's just going to be interesting to see if it does, if it even comes close. You start off with 340, whatever the hell it was, 300. And yeah, and then it's just like, is there like going to be good word of mouth? Does it have a significant drop? I mean, there's a really good chance that it might not even make $1 billion. And that's what's going to be interesting. And with the fourth movie coming out in 4 years, and they already have like the first act shot, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when it comes to that. So I think people are kind of just like, all right, we're tired of seeing the sky people versus the blue people. But that's why the fourth one needs to have a change. Now let's round up the last live stream on the Film Junkee channel in 2025 with something that came about last week that I was saving just in case. I was like, well, I'll save this and talk about it on either Monday or put it in its own video. We kind of briefly talked about it on the Vox stream, actually. And this has to do with the Snyderverse. This has to do with the DCEU. This has to do with Wonder Woman. And the original writer of Wonder Woman, Jason Fuchs, even though I'd like to say that his last name is Fox, and it's Jason Fox. All right. But here we go right here. He was being interviewed. He was being interviewed because he is one of the writers on Welcome to Derry. And of course, everybody's enjoying the shit out of that show. I still have to finish it. I have like 3 more episodes to go. And yes, it's excellent. But this is what he had to say right here. Or this is the article from The Direct. The Snyder... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong... Oops. I had to put it on the right screen, dummy. I was like, wait a minute. It's on my other screen. I'm looking at it the wrong way. Put it over here. There we go. Snyderverse writer unveils original plan to introduce Darkseid's son to the DCU. Very good title right there. Snyderverse writer? Yeah, like it. DCEU writer Jason Fuchs has confirmed there were once plans to bring Darkseid's son to the screen. The DCU, of course, began with all that and blah, 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 blah. And this is what he had to say right here. There was also a version of the script that ended with a post-credits sequence that included a Kalibak, a great deep-cut DC canon character that I always liked. And then, of course, he's talking to Josh Horowitz when it came to that. And that script got rearranged a lot. I mean, you could go back to some of the interviews from Jason where he was talking about certain things, talking about working with Zach, talking about certain changes. And naturally, there was always going to be changes. Obviously, Zach his original idea for Wonder Woman was vastly different. Obviously, we saw the image that he posted with, basically a bag of heads that she had when it came to Crimean War. There was going to be all that and her chasing down Ares and everything. So, yeah, there was always going to be changes. And apparently at one point, yes, they were like, oh, yeah, what if we bring in Kali back? What if we do that? What if we have and if you're not familiar with them, obviously, there's New God stuff, but even if you were to watch some episodes of Superman the Animated Series, Kalibak actually shows up. He's actually significantly in one episode that he shows up to Metropolis and everything and trying to win over his dad's love. I mean, it's kind of a sad story when it comes to Kalibak because he's always trying to be like, hey, Dad, look at what I'm doing. He's trying to win the affection of his father, that is Darkseid. And Darkseid just, with his hands behind his back, he ain't having it. He just really ain't having it. So it would have been interesting, of course, if they would have done that. But I don't know. It just seems like post-credit scenes were something that were never going to be a thing in the DCU. Even Zack himself said he never wanted a post-credit scene because it's like, why? Why have a post-credit scene? That's what those guys are doing. Why should we do that? So maybe that's one of the reasons why they got rid of it. Of course, I see fans online going, Jesus Christ, Warner Brothers again? I'm like, I don't think that was a Warner Brothers thing. I think it was just a thing, an idea that they had. I mean, who knows? They had a lot of ideas. Originally, David Ayer wanted Steppenwolf to be showing up in Suicide Squad, but they axed that, pardon the pun, they axed that when it came to Steppenwolf because he was going to be in Justice League. So then, of course, he did Incubus instead. So there's a lot of changes that happen because you're trying to fit things in certain places. And maybe they had an idea when it came to the Justice League sequels because obviously he was going to have the Darkseid invasion. So maybe Kalibak was going to be actually a part of Justice League 2 and 3. So they wanted to save him instead of having him in some post-credit scene when it came to Wonder Woman. So just a little cool little thing right there that I was like, oh yeah, let's talk about that. And you kind of wonder how many other things that they had that they just ended up not going with. So yeah, Gunn's not a fan of post-credit scenes either, and he's not going to do that. I mean, he does have post-credit scenes. He did in Superman, but they were not significant. They were just alternate takes or here's a fun little bit, nothing to really do anything. So. Anyways, I was like, Orion, yeah. I mean, it could have been something cool, though. It could have been something cool, but, And then also, too, I ran a poll to see how people were feeling about the Odyssey trailer, and most people, 60% out of 2.6 votes, or 2.6 thousand votes, say it's epic. 25% say it looks okay. 11%, not really feeling it. And then 4% say it looks terrible. So not too bad. And then thank you, Caleb, man. Thank you for being a member, being part of the membership. But yeah, like I said, guys, this is the last live stream I'm doing. I'm not going to do members-only streams on Wednesdays. We're not doing DC Fanimated because it's all the eves. It's Christmas Eve. It's New Year's Eve. So I won't even be home. So, yeah, not doing a vodka stream this Friday. I thought about doing a vodka stream on Friday because it's the day after Christmas. I was like, I'm not doing anything. But I was like, you know what? Let me just kind of take a break. I'm not going to do a Film Junkee Live next week. So the next live stream, unless something crazy happens, where it's like, all right, yeah, let's do a freaking live stream and have a discussion. If something crazy happens this week, maybe there'll be a vodka stream on Friday. But it's not looking like that's going to be the case. If something crazy happens this weekend, maybe there'll be a Film Junkee Live. Maybe there'll be a Film Junkee Live on Monday. But as of right now, I'm just going to take the week off. And on January 2nd, that's where I'll, the first vodka stream of the new year will happen. So it didn't renew for some reason. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for the $5 super chat too, Caleb. Much appreciated, sir. And hopefully you have a very Merry Christmas and all the things. So, Batman Cat. I know. Yeah, that's the thing. That's exactly what Jimmy Guns is gonna do, right? Fucking Jim. Just like how he embarrassed me. When I posted my sarcastic tweet on Saturday when I posted that screenshot where he was teasing Brainiac again. I said, I don't know, guys. I think that I think Brainiac's not going to be the villain. And then all of a sudden, like 12 minutes later, he posts the casting of Brainiac. And then, of course, people started dogpiling me like, oh, this aged well and all that stuff, which I thought it was funny. I didn't, you know, I was making a joke out of it. But it's just like, but yeah, Jimmy Gunn's, watch him fucking do that. Oh, yeah. Hey, Merry Christmas, guys. By the way, Brandon Sklenar is our fucking Batman. I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be something like that. If that does happen, guess what? We will probably have a discussion. I don't know. That's going to be hilarious. If that were to happen, it'd be freaking like crazy. I don't think they'll, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen though. I don't think that'll happen. But you never know with Jimmy Gunn. The dude he doesn't know. It's like, dude, relax, take a break. Take a break, Jimmy. Take a break. Spend some time with family, quality time. Take a little break. You had a pretty freaking crazy year. So let's just take a break. All right, let's go ahead and see what you guys are talking about on Twitter right here. Some Twitter questions. Hey, Dave, my thoughts on Captain Atom? He's a military veteran, hence Captain, yes, and he's the direct inspiration for Dr. Manhattan, like Peacemaker and Comedian, Question, Rorschach, yeah. So the actor has to convey both elements. Of your four, I'm thinking Efron or Pal. Interesting, okay, so you're not on the Richson side. Okay, that's cool. Darren, Mr. Laugh Now, Cry Later. One thing I love about Christopher Nolan's movies are the castings. I'm very excited to see what he does with Tom Holland. Me too. Because Tom Holland needs to have something outside of Spider-Man. In Maya Goth, in The Odyssey, I would love to see Nolan take someone like Dwayne Johnson and see what he could do with him. Well, Nolan 100% said that Dwayne Johnson had the best performance of 2025. So there needs to be something that happens there. If you're getting praised like that from Christopher fucking Nolan when the movie bombed. But you got the ultimate praise from the GOAT himself, Christopher Nolan. Whatever the fuck he is doing next, Dwayne Johnson, you better be in that goddamn movie. And, who knows what he's going to be doing next. Cooper Knox, getting both a Steven Spielberg movie and a Christopher Nolan movie next year is the ultimate cinema lover's wet dream. Yes, and we're getting a Zack Snyder movie as well. I'm just thinking about other directors that I like. And I know there's other directors too, but I was just like, yeah, we're also getting Zack Snyder's Last Photograph, which looks like it's going to be pure cinema as well. So, Devin Wooter, hey Dave, James Ransone, and the creator of Call of Duty have both passed. That's right, the creator of Call of Duty got in a bad car accident. They actually released the footage. It was his fault. He was speeding through this tunnel on this road up in like these hills, and he crashed, and he died instantly. Apparently, I saw the footage. It was bad. He was in a Lamborghini. That's sad. When I heard the news, do you think Avatar 3 will make a $2 billion? It's not going to make $2 billion. It has a chance to make $1 billion, but we'll see. And what's your favorite performance from James Ransone? From me, it's Chapter 2. I hadn't really seen him in anything else. I'd probably seen him maybe in something else. I know he was in like another movie that I know I've seen. I forgot what movie that was. It was a horror movie. I can't remember, but it wasn't It Chapter 2. It was another movie. But I liked him in It Chapter 2 because he played the what's his name's character, the grown-up, and he did a great job. They were like perfectly cast, the grown-ups, when it came to It Chapter 2. Perfectly cast. It was like one of those, like, wow, you guys really perfectly cast those guys. Mr. Nobody, hey Dave, I'm not sure if it's a done deal with Alan Richardson. Will be Captain Adam, but I'm 100% for it. I think it's a great idea, and I like how Gunn makes lesser known characters stand out. I do wonder, since Gunn has spoken with Cavill, who would Gunn consider Henry to play? Again, Vandal Savage could be right there for him. And then Joshua G. Hey, Dave, here's my fan cast for the DCU Trinity. Obviously, David Cornswood. But Disha Patini as Diana Prince, as Diana, jeez. And obviously he's going to be Batman Brandon Sklenar and Walker Scobell as Wally. That's an interesting one. I don't know who she is, but man, she's good looking. And then of course Sklenar. And yeah, he was the kid in Adam Project, right? And he's also in Percy Jackson. I could see that. I could see him being a Wally. That's what's going to be interesting too. Because one of the things, that I brought up when it came to my video, the thing about Brandon Sklenar, David Cornsweet following Brandon Sklenar on Instagram. He's also following, what's his name too? Bailey, the Wicked dude. A lot of people are fan casting him. Jonathan Bailey. He's also following him too. So, I mean, again, it might mean nothing. We just, it's just social media investigation is what's happening. He does follow Jonathan Bailey too, but then again, they did do the variety actor on actor thing together, so most likely, but then again, who knows? Like I said, I was telling you guys that I was hearing that auditions were already taking place, and Sklenar did, in fact, audition, and then when talking to this individual, I said, well, if he had an audition, most likely he screen tests with Cornsweet, right? And this person said, most likely. But again, take it with a grain of salt. He's hearing something, and then telling me it's just one of those things. It could be all wrong. I'm not one of them. I'm not trying to be a scooper or anything, guys. I'm not saying, oh, this is happening. I'm just assuming that if Man of Tomorrow has the threat of Brainiac, and James Gunn has made it apparent that, yes, there are multiple heroes in this world already established, and we know James Gunn doesn't just do solo movies. He does team up movies, which a lot of people don't like, but at the same time, I'm going, well, if you already have established world and there is a global threat and Batman's not there, I'm just kind of going, well, that's a little weird. Where is Batman? I'm not saying he has to be there the whole time. I'm just thinking that Batman's going to show up somewhere. Wonder Woman? Yeah, she could just be off on Themyscira and maybe she don't know shit. But I'm just kind of going, well, maybe Wonder Woman will show up too. Now, when it comes to other characters like Aquaman I could see not showing up. He's just out. He's in Atlantis. They're under the water. They're like, who gives a fuck? When it comes to Cyborg, is there a Cyborg around? And then we were talking about this on the Vodka stream too. Would you want Cyborg to be part of the Justice League or Teen Titans? And pretty much the panel was like, yeah, maybe Teen Titans. And maybe they'll run a poll on that tomorrow. Maybe I'll run that and see what people think when it comes to that. Would you like Cyborg to actually be part of the Justice League or part of Teen Titans? Seems like when it comes to Teen Titans, he was a leader essentially in that. And then if we're already going to have a Teen Titans, why not have him already there? Then the question is, what Flash do we have? Where is this Flash? Do we have multiple Flash guys? Do we have a Jay Garrick? Do we have a Barry Allen and a Wally West? I mean, that's the thing. There's a lot of questions out there. There really is a lot of questions out there. But that's the thing is James Gunn is approaching this universe differently, where it's like we're not going to just have a bunch of origin stories and then, solo team up, solo team up. It's not going to be that formula. It's just like, hey, if somebody shows up, they fucking show up. And I like that. I've always liked that. I've always liked that idea that, oh yeah, I'm glad that Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl and Mr. Terrific show up to help Superman. They're already established, they're already there. That's great. I think that's fantastic. It's still very much a Superman movie, but you're going to have this little bit of help because even Superman needs help. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, if you're going to have a global threat like that, I'm just going, Batman's got to be showing up in there somewhere, right? And maybe Wonder Woman, maybe he's going to already establish that Trinity. He's already going to establish that Trinity, which I would not be surprised. Barry had a TV show and movie. Wally would be better. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Gunn goes Wally instead of Barry, because Barry's been done to death. Barry, we've already had three iterations of live-action Barry Allen. The 92 series, the CW series, and then, of course, Ezra, So I'm like, yeah, it's time that we get a Wally West. When I got introduced as a Flash as a kid, it was Wally. Wally West was the Flash. When I collected Flash comic books, I had no idea that there were past versions of the Flash until I bought this one book that had, it was like it had a bunch of different stories, a bunch of different Flash stories in there. And that's when I found out about Jay Garrick and Barry Allen. And it kind of showed all their origin stories and stuff. It was a cool little book. But yeah, when I was collecting Flash comics as a kid, it was Wally. It was Wally West. And there's even that crazy one where he died. He got shot. But yeah. Anyways, All right, so there you go, guys. That is it. Woo! All right. Well, have a good rest of the year, guys. Like I said, I'll still be posting videos. I'll still be posting polls. I'll still be interacting when it comes to that. But yeah, no more live streams unless something crazy happens. But the next live stream will be the Vodka stream, not this Friday, but the following Friday on January 2nd. That's when the next live stream will be. No more live streams till then. Now, like I said, unless something fucking happens, unless Jimmy Gunn wants to fuck with me again, god damn it, that guy. But we'll see what happens. But hit that like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys. There's the Patreon over there. I posted a Sunday evening hangover podcast last night. I talked for about 50 minutes. So enjoy that over on Patreon. And you guys have a very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Just have fun with family and everything. And I'll see you in 2026. Bye-bye.